Okay, this is the homework for Paul McQuarter's lesson number 109 for the server and client um, setup that he showed us how to do on lesson number 109. He wanted us to control. If you look on the on here, you see I got a red LED, a yellow LED, and a green LED. I'm going to try and control that using the socket client server functions. Okay, let me show you the software first. Okay, here is the server section. Import network, import use socket as socket, import secrets and time. Secrets is my uh, login information for the website. Okay, I've also got I import machine pin and I2C for the display. I imported a SSD 1306 as SSD 1306 I2C. That's 128 by 64. I've got on channel 0. Data is GPIO 0 and clock is GPIO 1. And it's set for 400,000. Okay, and I set up the object for the display is this. This is I guess that's the method. Yeah, it's SSD 1306 I2C. Then I set up the width and the height. I've defined them up here. Then I have I2C, which is defined here. That all sets up your display. Then although I'm not sure why I put display show, I think that's a leftover from messing around with this thing. Anyhow, I set up a counter, count 0. Okay, now here is where we first take a look at the network. Okay, here's the WLAN equals network. And this is, you know, he doesn't even explain all that much of this because I think he didn't want to get into it. And neither do I. But this is what he showed us to do. WLAN active true, that turns on the WLAN information or the communication. And then I say connect secrets SSID, a secrets password. That's where my secrets file comes in. Now down here, while WLAN is connected, equals false. If it's not connected, we'll display fill 0, display waiting to connect, display. I do that also on the serial or the, the print on the display. And then at this time, I say sleep 1, and it goes through to display string count in 1. I put it on 016. Then I display show. Then I increment the count. And when I start the thing, you'll see it start counting up from 0. And let me go ahead and stop it just because I don't want it to be locked up when I try to demonstrate this. It's a little persnickety about how you start things and stop things. And then from here, after if it sees it, it jumps out of this loop and comes down to fill 0, clears the display, and then I'd say the connection completed, and I say Wi-Fi connected, and I put it at different places on the display. Then I also print the ILAN so that I know what the address is. I want the ifconfig so I know what address I need to put in my client. I've gone to my server and set it up So it's always 104. But you know, if you haven't done that, then you got to know what the address is, or it's not going to work. Okay, then we down here we do. This is where you set up the server socket. And I don't know what any of this does. I'm sure he does, but he didn't want to get into it either. Server socket bind. This just binds the WLAN to the server socket, and this ifconfig is 0, so that's the address of the server. Okay, now here I've got. Then I print. I set on the display server listening, and then I print the ifconfig again and display show. Down here, I just set up some pins. I've gone ahead and put in the LED pins and the button pins because I could see on his setup on the videos that he's going to be adding buttons to all this, so I just went ahead and put them in. Okay, down here I've got to try and accept. I'll go all the way down to accept and just display fill and turns everything, makes the display go back to 0 or clears the display. Now here you got, I say print waiting for the client. Okay, that's on the display here. And then I set the command up. I ask for a command, and then the command, I set up if the command equals red, do this. If it's yellow, do that. If it's green, do that. And if it's off, do this. And I just displayed LED on so that I could tell. Actually, I could see the LED is right next to the display. But if you had the display and the LED in two different places, you'd have to know whether it was on or not. Okay, anyway, the server socket send to, this sends the client address, and then we get the display command received, and then we do time sleep, display fill, and show again. All right, and then down here, let's go down to the client. That's a lot simpler. Import socket. We set up the server address, which we already know since we wrote it the first time. Then, of course, we set up the buffer size, 1024 on both sides. And this is pretty much the same as the other one, except it's UDPC client, or the other one was, I don't remember. Big old look. Where is that? Okay. Okay, this one up here was called server socket. And this down here was called UDP client. I think you can call it anything you want as long as you use the same thing in your code. Okay, here command, I say command input what color? Red, yellow, green, or off. Then I encode it, and I say request encoded equals command dot encode. So this command gets encoded here, and I send that to the server, the server address, which I already have up here. That's the server address, and it's actually a server address and the what's that called? Oh, I don't know. It's a gate or something. I can't remember. Anyway, it sends it to the server address. The data, then I get the information back. Data address DB client received from the buffer size, which happens to be that 1024. Data decoded equals data decode. And then we print the server message. Okay. Okay, let's try running this thing. I'll run this one first. Now, if you watch the display, look at the display. It's counting down. Oh, it's already locked. That didn't take long. And then over here, we'll go ahead and run the client. And there we're displaying what color do you want. So right now it's sitting on red, but that's left over from the last time I ran it. So let's go off just to see that it goes off. And look at that, it went off. Ha, makes my day. All right, let's try green. Green. And we have green. And then we go to, how about yellow? Uh-oh, didn't spell it right. Went, try again. If you spell it right, it works better. Okay, now I have yellow. And then I can go back to red. There's red and back to off. And there it goes. Okay, and there's my homework. And I appreciate you doing all these videos, Paul. And this is a cool thing, except for it took me forever to get it working. I don't know what it is. I didn't see anything wrong with anything. So it just, for some reason, started working, and I don't know why, because it wouldn't work. That's why my homework has taken so long, because the darn thing wouldn't work. And I'm not sure if it was my son was messing around with the internet, so I suspect it had something to do with that. So we'll see you on Tuesday for the rest of this class. Thanks for doing these videos. Bye.